So I get in the car, dude, and Sarah starts screaming. Oh my God! Screaming at the top of her lungs. Do we need to stay here and call? Like, is this baby coming right now? And she's like, yeah. She's like, the baby's coming right now. So we're 25 minutes away from the hospital.
Skipping through the
Welcome back, Chance and Penner. If you haven't checked out our sketch comedy podcast, go check it out. It's on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're on it. It's 12 tracks of our sketch comedy album theme, and we're working on season 2. We'd love it, if people went and listened and gave us feedback on what you guys would think of it. So go find that in
especially if you think it's bad. Just go ahead and let us know. Cut us down.
Yeah, let us know so we can be sure to block you.
No, we'll give up on the second album and then just save some time and cry.
Yeah, we'll save a lot of time, a lot of shedding of tears, so that'll be good. But yeah, if you're interested, check out the notes. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description. Check it out. Let us know what you think. But going back, yes, we did have a baby. The due date was this past Sunday. She ended up coming on very early, like at the buzzer on Saturday morning. And boy, do I have a story to tell you guys. So
from my vantage point, it was like, oh, they went to Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, we forgot to go to Chuck E. Cheese and meet them there. Oh, they had a baby like an hour later.
That's really where the story starts. So yeah, I mean, everything was going good. We had our due date the week before. Sarah was kind of like tracking things, and things were moving along nicely. Everything was peaceful. Her and Callie, a friend of Penner's and I's, their kid had a 5th birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. It was during the day. It was during the work day, so I couldn't make it. But Sarah took our daughter, our 3-year-old daughter, and they went and had a great time. Callie now loves Chuck E. Cheese, which I'm sad because there's like none of them in existence anymore, so it's not as easy to go. But she loved it. There's a great video of her dancing with Chucky. So
by the way, they recently moved, I guess, to take away all of the animatronics, and replace them all.
Yeah, which makes no sense after 5
nights.
Why after 5 Nights at Freddy's being so successful would you do that? It makes no sense.
Well, like, kids are going to be horrified whenever they come here now because they've all played 5 Nights at Freddy's.
Well, if Universal was smart, they would just start opening their own chains with their own 5 Nights at Freddy's characters. I think adults and kids both, it would be a huge hit. But anyway, so that's where the story really starts. They came home, and I was thinking, all right, they're going to be home a little bit later. Probably not going to have the opportunity to go see a movie, in a movie theater for a while. So I'm going to take tonight, Friday night, I'm going to go see a couple movies because I have an AMC movie pass. And one of the movies that I wanted to see was Killers of the Flower Moon. So went and saw that at 6:30. Got the clearance. Sarah was like, yeah, we're good. I'm not experiencing anything different. Go for it. Like, it'll be a fun night. So I'm like, all right, cool. I was going to see that. And then if time permitted, I've been hearing so many negative reviews about the Marvels that it piqued my morbid curiosity, and I was going to go see it with my AMC pass. So I'm sitting in Killers of the Flower Moon. I texted Dave and Vince even because I did sit, next to a Popcorn Chomper, which Dave turned me on to. I think when I don't remember what movie that you saw. I think it was Barbie that you experienced some popcorn chompers.
Hard
chompers. And this is another person that I came across with the popcorn chomping. There was a person that was loudly going, yeah, there's someone sitting in our seat. And this is 10 minutes after the movie actually started. Not 10 minutes after the trailer started rolling, 10 minutes after the movie started. And they just kept saying it to the point of where there's no other way I could take it than it was being directed at me. And I'm check my ticket again, and I'm like, no, I'm in the right seat, but they just kept harping on it. So add that.
I'm gonna have to call the authorities on this matter.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have a disruption here if you don't get out of my seat. And so that we add that to the list of annoying people to movie theater. Dave is the old people that can't find their seats, so they accuse everybody else of stealing theirs. That's always a good time. So I'm watching Killers of the Flower Moon, which it's getting a lot of praise. I don't know that it's warranted. It's 3.5 hours. And an hour and a half. I mean, the movie really did itself a disservice by having it be that long. I can't remember. I enjoyed it because I enjoyed the biopicness of it, but it reminded me like of a longer version of the assassination of Jesse James. And you guys know I love that movie. That
movie's long, dude.
That movie's long. So imagine what this movie is, and it really did itself a disservice. Although, Dave, a little inside, I'm sitting there, dude, freaking Norma Jean's in the movie. She plays Leonardo DiCaprio's Dude, she plays Leonardo DiCaprio's housekeeper and has like lines in this like
What?
serious screen time.
What? That's awesome.
I instantly went on Instagram. I'm like, dude, I just saw you in Killers of the Flower Moon. Anyway, Killers of the Flower Moon is it's typical Scorsese fare, which Scorsese could literally film paint drying for 3 hours and people will be like, this is an Oscar contender. I don't get that. I don't understand why these old directors have to put movies out that are past 3 hours long.
The question is, was it cinema or not?
It was cinema. It was long cinema, but it was cinema. There wasn't one damn superhero anywhere to be found. So that's how you know.
Cinema then.
It wasn't a theme park ride. I will say it was one of Leonardo DiCaprio's best performances. It's one of the rare Leo performances that you forget it's him. So I was like, oh, cool. So he does a great job. He's worth watching alone, but definitely wait and watch this movie when it comes out on Apple Plus. Don't sit in the theater. So anyway, cut to 2 hours and 45 minutes in, I get a text from Sarah that says, hey, should probably come home after that movie. And I was like, oh, what's going on? She's like, well, I'm having contractions. I'm timing them. They're nothing like out of the ordinary for this time. Like, it's not an emergency. Finish the movie. And I'm like, I can come home right now. I don't have to sit through another 45 minutes of this. I'll come home. It'll be on Apple Plus, whatever. If I need to leave, I need to leave. She goes, no, stick it out. Watch it. We're good. So I stick it out.
No, really, I don't want to watch it.
No. And then I started berating her about what? You don't care about the baby, that you're just going to let me sit here and watch the movie?
You're going to let me watch a 3.5 hour Scorsese movie over our baby.
Wow. It says a lot about you, my friend. So anyway, I go home, and by the time I get home, I can tell that the mood is drastically shifted, and the calmness of, hey, everything's tracking has turned to she's on hold with labor and delivery. And I'm like, oh, so should we pack ourselves? This was at like 10:45 at night. So Callie's in bed. She's been asleep for a couple hours. It's our 3-year-old daughter. And Sarah's like, no, I'm just going to wait. You know, we had some friends on standby that live up not far from us that were going to come and take Callie and all that stuff, right? So we're trying to text those friends. It's late, so we're not hearing anything back. We're on hold with labor and delivery. And so I take a shower really quick. And by the time I get probably 5 to 6 minute shower, by the time I get out of the shower, Sarah can't talk because her contractions are so heavy duty. And I'm sitting there, and the only thing I have it to compare it, when our 3-year-old was born, it was the exact opposite. We were at an Olive Garden on New Year's Eve, and Sarah's water broke after too many breadsticks. And so
sometimes that'll happen at Olive Garden, though.
Yeah.
Your water will break, and you'll be like, well,
Totally.
I wasn't pregnant. I'm a male. It doesn't matter. It just happens.
Right. My water breaks a lot at Olive Garden, and it's for a completely separate reason. But I did tell Sarah, I said, if this one doesn't come, if she's late, we'll just go to Olive Garden and just nip it in the bud. But that, as you'll see, that was not
you
the
can
problem.
At least get free breadsticks.
Yeah,
you know,
for life.
You can use that as an excuse. You're like, oh, we have to leave. We have a baby.
Well, where you didn't have proper medical services, you're gonna have to pay up now. Give us a gift card. So anyway, I get out of the shower, and it is, I mean, the contraction level and the pain level is like the only thing I have to compare with, because when Calliope was born, Sarah's water broke, and then we were in the hospital for like 8 to 10 hours before Callie actually came. So I'm sitting there, and I realized, like, oh, the last time I saw Sarah in this much pain and agony was right before she took the epidural, because I remember that going from like, nah, normal contractions, I can handle these, to, oh shit, this is awful. And yeah, I want drugs. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting Callie. I'm throwing the stuff in the car. We're going. We're not waiting on labor and delivery. Like, you're having contractions. We need to freaking go. And so she's like, okay, finally, my wife's very headstrong, so you got to kind of convince her. But I was like, we're going. Like, we're not waiting for anybody. Let's roll.
But also, I feel like Sarah is so like respectful and cordial that she would play it down. So she's like, 100%. I feel like she would be in so much pain and just be like, hey, let's talk about your movie first before I let you.
Yeah. You know what it was? It was that, but it was also, she didn't feel like we were ready to go. So in her head, she was creating these reasons why we shouldn't go. And I was going, oh no, this is like past, you're in it. So you can't see the forest from the trees. Like, you're having contractions that are like, if we were in the hospital, you would be taking drugs for. So I get Callie up. Callie's like, what the hell is going on? Sarah had packed all the go back stuff. I packed my stuff. I threw it all in the car. Luckily, we had gotten everything done. We had done all the planning. You know, we put the car seat in. We were ready to go. We get Callie up, and I say, Callie's like, what's going on? I'm like, your sister's coming. Like, I need you to roll. So I get her ready. I get her shoes on. Sarah's getting like snacks and stuff for Callie ready. Finally, we get in the car. She hangs up on labor and delivery because they just never put us off hold. They never came to the phone. So I get in the car, dude, and Sarah starts screaming and is like, oh my God. She's like screaming at the top of her lungs. So I was like, oh shoot. I was like, do we need to stay here and call ambulance? Like, is this baby coming right now? And she's like, yeah. She's like, the baby's coming right now. And I was like, so we're 25 minutes away from the hospital. So I like, dude, I throw the car in reverse. Callie's in the back seat. Keep in mind, this whole time, our 3-year-old, not knowing what the hell's going on, she just woke up. I speed all the way. Like I'm going 100 miles an hour just to get to the freeway. Sarah,
you were the guy in every movie.
I was the guy
in someone to the hospital.
Dude, I can't tell you.
Your officer, her water broke.
if this was, that was the thing. Her water didn't break. She was just having these hardcore contractions. So I'm rushing to get there, and the intensity of the situation got to such a peak level that I was like, I'm going to pull over because like, you're either going to have this baby and I'm going to have to deliver this being me, not having any idea how to deliver a baby, or I'm going to have to call a paramedic or a cop or somebody with experience to come to deliver the baby. She goes, no, she goes, I need you to get me to the hospital. That is all you need to worry about, is get me to the freaking hospital. So I like gun it, dude. I'm running red lights. I'm Callie's in the back seat going, what's an emergency? What's an emergency? The whole time, just like going, hey, is everything okay? Then she hits this peak level where I think she realized that the baby was coming. So she starts like getting loud in the back seat, like singing. And I was like, so I'm trying to hold it together of like, the enormity of this situation is so high because I'm sitting there going, what the fuck am I going to do if I have to deliver this baby in a Chevy Trailblazer?
You're like, this is an emergency. It's when mom and dad
exactly
lose their shit.
But I'm trying to not like take out any of I'm trying to keep the situation as calm as possible because all she's feeding off of is our energy, and it's high. So Sarah is like the further and further we go, there's like Sarah's calling on the name of the Lord. She's literally praying to Jesus out loud to don't let me have this baby in the car. And I'm sitting there going, do I need to deliver this baby in the car? And she's just, no, go. So I'm busting 100 all the way down the 91 freeway. I finally pull off. I cut 4 cars off and honk in this like way in the moment that I'm like, they'll understand what I'm getting at. So I'm like doing these like honks.
It's that he just had a baby horn.
Yeah,
he's
like,
good. Everybody, come on.
Well, the hospital's a block that way. They have to know what this means. So I'm like honking in like these Morse code honks. Of, like, my wife's having a baby.
He's having a baby.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I still flipped him off as I went by. I didn't want him, I wanted to keep it equal. So I'm skidding across 4 lanes, and finally I make the turn. Dude, we drive, and I miss the turn into the hospital. And so, dude, thank God, luckily, it was a blessing because the actual emergency lane was the next driveway. So I pull in there, dude. I skid into the emergency center where they drop off like the ambulances and stuff. I freaking throw it in park. I rush out of the car, and there's a security guard, and I go, my wife is literally giving, like, the baby is coming out of her body. Please go get somebody. And so this dude, I went back and like actually talked to the security guard because she was like I was so thankful for her because she went and told them, and like 4 people instantly came out. Sarah gets out of the car, dude, and her water just breaks in the middle of the thing, and we have to like put her in a wheelchair. I had to get our 3-year-old daughter out, and the security guard was like, hey, I know you're having a baby, but they will still tow your car if you don't move it out of the emergency lane. So I send Callie off with these nurses who are amazing, and they're like, hey, Callie, you want to come see what we're doing right now? Like, as Callie's like, what's an emergency? Like, trying to get like some kind of grounding on the situation.
Like, are you an emergency?
She's like, are you a ghost? Am I dreaming? What's going on? So finally, like, I run back to the car, dude. I like go and rush and park. I leave everything like unlocked in the car. I run back to the hospital, and I'm thinking she's going to be in the lobby, and they're going to put like a tent up and giving birth to because that dude, when I say that she was like telling me that she could feel the baby coming out of her birth canal and in the car. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do with that? And she's like, just get me there. So finally,
you won though, dude. You won the achievement of making it there before her water actually busted open.
Dude.
Also, the chat wants to know, Did you think Chance stopped at a Chick-fil-A still before arriving at the hospital?
No, but only because they were closed. If this would have been around 9:30, I would have done a curb to door order, and I would have gotten there quicker if I would have had some Chick-fil-A. So anyway, I'm almost done with my story. So I drop her off. I run back into the hospital. I go back, and within 10 minutes, that baby is out and
That's
into.
crazy.
And it was like, dude, it happened so fast. It happened so fast that like, and the funny thing is like, Dave, all I could think about was in the moment, all I could think about was the conversation I had with you in Nevada a week before, where I'm like, oh yeah, Sarah's gonna get drugs. Like, oh, there's no point in not getting drugs if you have it. Remember that we were in your kitchen,
Yeah.
and I was like talking all this shit, and I'm sitting there going like, dude, this is like absolute karma for like all this stuff that I've just been like, oh, we know what we're doing. And yeah, within 10 minutes.
Yo, we've done this before. And then your
Yeah.
baby's like, no, I'm going to give you 0 warning. Also, like, how long were you on hold with the hospital people? Were you still on hold when you pulled up to the hospital?
So when we got in the car, she hung up because I was like, get off the phone. Like, we're going. There's no point in staying on the phone anymore. And so anyway, she called them back because she was letting them know we were coming. So they were actually, she called them back and they instantly got on the phone. And she's like, I'm literally going in to delivery now.
Oh,
And
well,
like,
we didn't know
okay.
you were on the labor line. You could have told us.
Dude, but like there was nobody at the hospital. There was nobody. Like we got so lucky. If there was anybody on the road, if there was anything, I would have had to deliver that baby in the car, dude. It was the most insane experience of my life.
I picture you too, like pulling like a Chevy from Vacation, like just instantly going into like a calming, like what's an emergency? You're like, well, honey, an
Yeah.
emergency is this, and we're gonna want to roll our windows up here. First of all, there's gonna be screaming, and it's gonna be great.
I wish I can say that I was that way. It definitely felt like Vacation in the sense that I was like skidding in the family truckster, like the scene where Clark falls asleep and he's just zooming past all of these like off ramps and like skidding into the motel and all that stuff.
He's all, if we get in an accident from the red light, you're gonna want to take my phone, dial 911.
Dude, that's why it was so scary because I'm like, I have my 3-year-old, my wife, and my wife who's giving birth to our new daughter. If I like pwned this car going 100 miles an hour, like there was just like, I can say honestly, in my entire life, that was the one moment, that was the 1 hour and a half section of my life that I didn't have anything more on the line than like having to pull it together. And like, honestly, what I can equate it to, all those Fast and Furious movies, dude. Through osmosis, I learned how to respond and how to drive for the family. So that's my story, dude.
So you can justify watching the Fast and Furious franchise now.
Yeah, I could justify it before as like a hate watch, but now I say watch for respect and take notes and really pay attention to what Dom Toretto's saying.
But I just want to ask you, oh yeah, what was that?
No, it just speaks to the human condition,
Oh yeah, I mean all those movies do. They're all very esoteric.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to know, just you can be straight with us. Did you get the right number of sauces? Specifically, how many ranches did you get in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru?
I will say that I literally went to Chick-fil-A the very next morning before I went back to the hospital because Sarah was like, take Callie home tonight and then come back tomorrow. The other thing is like the fact that she didn't have a long, prolonged birth or didn't take drugs, like she was on her feet within 15, 20 minutes after giving birth.
Whoa.
To the point, dude, I left the part of the story out. Sarah, we get into the delivery room and Sarah's talking to the doctor. She's like, can I go to the bathroom real quick? I don't know if she wants me to tell the story, but she said anything I could tell, whatever I wanted. So she goes in the bathroom and the doctor goes, are you sure you can go? Like, don't have this baby in the bathroom. And Sarah goes, no, I'm fine. So Sarah goes in the bathroom and all of a sudden, all the nurses and the doctors go out into the hallway and I'm the only one in there with Callie. And I hear, oh my God, at the top of her lungs. And I look at Callie and Callie looks at me and we're just like, so I run back to the hallway. I'm like, dude, she's having the baby in the bathroom. So the doctor runs past me and goes, Sarah, we had a deal. It was funny. Awesome. It was crazy. Most traumatic experience of my life. I can't believe Calliope is not in a catatonic state right now. I mean, I gotta give it to that little girl, man. She held everything together and she handled it. I can't believe how well she handled it. But dude, if she wasn't so like awesome, it would have made that process even crazier.
Did Sarah get her drugs?
No drugs, dude.
Wow.
Dude, no drugs, almost had in the car.
Like natural, dude.
Basically, like, dude, she basically had all of her hardcore contractions at our house or in our car. like by the time she got to the hospital, she didn't even have to do much for the baby to come out. It was
so she's a certified
insane.
badass now,
Dude.
basically.
She's a total badass. I just like for 3 straight days, we would just we'd like look at each other and not say anything, just shake our heads, and we knew exactly what we were communicating to one another. We were like, this is the most insane thing ever. But
You're all,
yeah. Dude, we were out of the hospital one day though, man. Everything's going good, and yeah, Indiana's eating and sleeping pretty okay. And
Indiana, dude,
Indiana.
Indy Chance.
With a name like Indiana, I should have expected a little adventure. You know, I just wasn't expecting that kind of
there you go, dude.
Sarah was like, in hindsight, you should have put on like the Indiana Jones theme. It would have made the like drive there a hell of a lot better.
You definitely should have prioritized that. Daner Dane says, I had bad gas one time in the car. Same thing.
It's very similar. I mean, much like, you know, you always say like toddlers and puppies are very similar. It's very true. Having gas and delivering a child is like, they're pretty interchangeable, Daner Dane.
When you're that bloated, it's no joke.
And yeah, to answer your question, I did get the right amount of sauces, dude. I went overboard. I ordered for me and Indiana. I was like, you know,
oh, well, it's 2 sauces per item. You're all, excuse me, I just delivered a baby.
I'm all, do you want to see the interior of my car, sir? I delivered, well, not quite, but I delivered a baby twice. Yeah, so all Polynesian, all ranch. We're good to go there. Even have some left over in my fridge, Daner. Come on over.
Dude, you always got to have a stockpile in the fridge because you never know. You're not going to use it, but you might use it. You never know.
Yeah, and I became an official old grown-up man because we got our freezer going. We have 2 freezers now. One for our drinks, or our fridge freezer. Wow. One for our drinks and like our frozen meats, and then the one inside the house. Dave has been having a separate outdoor freezer for years, and I've been so jealous.
It means you're wealthy whenever you have. Yeah. It's like as a kid when you went to your friend's house and they're like, "Oh, we have a second fridge in the garage."
Fun fact: my buddy's mom used to store her red cigarette cartons in the freezer, and I was always like, "Why do that?" And she's like, "For freshness." Like, okay,
what?
Yeah, she's no longer with us. Yeah, no longer with us.
You can freeze tobacco?
I guess so, dude. I guess you can freeze anything, from what I understand.
I mean, you can freeze it, but is it gonna help?
It's gonna taste like ass. Huh. But anyway, that's my story. How's your week gone, dude? What have you been up to?
It was good, man. I was a little I had totally a similar story today where I had an emergency with Ticketmaster.
Okay.
I was looking for I was checking out I don't know if you guys have heard of the When We Were Young concert that like just happened like a month ago.
Yeah.
But they're already selling tickets to next year. I didn't make it this year. I was like, okay, I don't know. Like maybe I'll try to go. My friend was wanting to go. And so like I get on there at 10 a.m. to buy tickets, and this is just like the worst like experience. So they send a pre-sale code an hour before, which doesn't make sense because it's not a pre-sale, it's the sale. And then like you go on there, and I don't know, like Vince, if you have that screenshot I sent you, but I wanted to show you guys because it's so ridiculous. Like the amount of like ridiculous,
Jeez.
Like I'm all for like whatever a company like wants to do usually is like it makes sense when things are expensive, like usually, but like the amount of like ridiculous. Okay, so if you can see, there's tiers on this image of like prices, right? Like it starts by $320, goes all the way up to $450. So what are you thinking right away? Okay, there's tiers. Okay, there's got to be like different access points. Like maybe one of them you get a better restroom, like sure. VIP later on. No, they're literally the same ticket. They're all the same. They're just tiers for no reason.
Oh my God.
And so the first one, and then so it's just like, well, they're all whatever one you get is like you're just gonna pay more for no reason. And then the first tiers like look like they're available, but whenever you click them, then they'll be like, oh no, sorry, like refresh. And then every time you refresh, they'll switch like which ones are available. The first tier will go from unavailable to available, just switch back and forth every single time. But then you click it and it's not available. So it's like, and keep in mind, this is for one day. This is not like Coachella is like at least 3 days. Like this is one day in Vegas. Okay, and then so on top of that, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, all the first ones are sold out like right away. And there's like as if like everything is actually sold out. And then they're like, but wait, there's a wait list. but it's not a wait list. It's just you like saying you'll pay the maximum tier amount. They're like, if you want to be on the wait list, you can do that. And what that means is you have to pay the maximum amount, which is $450. And we'll automatically charge your credit card if that happens. It's like, do you want that?
Dude.
That's not a wait list. So then, okay. So then this is an epic story. I feel like it's going to do a better job. It's a better story than your giving birth story.
I'm glad. We're really needing some excitement there.
Okay, so a couple hours later, they're like, oh, guys, we're all like, oh, the tiers are all sold out. Sorry. And then 2 hours later, we get this text like, due to popular demand, we added a second day. That's the same thing again. That will be sold later. So it's like as if we're supposed to believe that like they just decided this. They're like, oh, due to popular demand, it's like, oh, the last hour we just casually talked to like, 50 band managers, executives,
right,
venue, lawyers, sponsors, vendors, and we figured it out, guys, for you. Oh, and by the way, like that's the sale for that is later, but if you want to be on that waiting list, you can pay us the maximum amount right now, and then we'll just give you the ticket for that. I'm just like, I've never like experienced like Ticketmaster is always bad, but like I've never experienced like this horrible, like, I don't know. They just think millennials are a bunch of idiots, I guess. It's like I feel like they all held a meeting and were like just creatively brainstorming like, what is the most possible thing that we can do to just screw everyone? Vince, are you listening? What do you think about that, buddy? I really wanted your opinion.
Hey, I was actually just like getting away from my camera for a second. Dude, that's wild. And I was going to make the joke that you did where it's like, oh, hey, we just talked to 4,000 people and 80 different bands and we decided we could do another day.
Guys, we're going to do you a solid here.
All those, I typed in the chat, emo Firefest, dude. It's just a money grab.
It is, dude.
It
sounds like that model for sure,
dude. The model of Coachella, I think, fucked everything up because Coachella is like a week-long event, so their prices, like it used to be, like Coachella for a week was like $350.
Yeah,
and then all these other places,
this is like $100 less than Coachella, which is 3 days. They're like, oh, you like nostalgia, you little shit,
dude. It's wild. And then with that many bands playing in one day, that's half a song a person, dude. If you like, do
and the lineup is like nowhere, like the lineup like for mainstream people is like nowhere near what it was last year. Like last year they had like Green Day, Blink, like all these like pretty mainstream like bands. Now it's just like the top tier is like My Chemical Romance. It's not even like as big.
I was gonna say it's like the price point is because of how many bands, but it's like Comic-Con. Like you can only do so much. You can only see so many bands, so you have to like prioritize times and stages and all that stuff. So that's so interesting. It's so weird.
Oh, you remember when you weren't popular in high school and you called yourself emo? Well, now emo's cool again, so you're gonna be out the ass.
You're gonna be in the A group, okay? What the tier 4, so to speak, for $450. Do you want to be cool?
Also, the fact that it's called like I just hate the title. Like when we were young.
Yeah, dude. Like for sure.
It's like, oh, remember when you had your whole life ahead of you and you weren't shit? And you were like,
well, it's infantilizing too, dude.
Like, oh, nostalgia. Yeah.
It's infantilizing, and I love how like similar, really, Ticketmaster is to like a dominatrix, where it's like you pay them a super amount of money and they just tell you what a bag of shit you are, and you're like, yeah, keep that coming.
I mean, if I got off on being treated like shit, it would really, be really working.
Well, the service fees would make sense at that point, because it would be a service. But that's crazy. No. So, did you end up going through with it? Did you get any?
No.
Good.
Well, yeah. I mean, my buddy got last year's, and he said the same thing happens. They were like, oh, we're adding a second day, but like so many people paid a ridiculous amount of money for the first one that and they were like all scalpers that it threw off the whole supply and demand spectrum. So by the time they announced the second day, everyone who thought they had tickets that are worth double the price were suddenly they were trying to get rid of them for $50.
Is there any backlash that you've seen to that online? Is there other people calling that out? I remember the Taylor Swift thing happened. People were freaking out.
Dude, I'm surprised there's no backlash yet. It was I've never seen anything like a tiered system where you literally get nothing else for paying $100 more. That seems crazy to me.
Trip, dude. What a trip. Well, maybe, Biden saying that he was going to investigate Ticketmaster. Maybe we finally need it. We all laughed at
So
him.
I'm going to investigate when we were young. He's just there walking around.
He's all, look, my cam is fine, but come on, man. Come on. But come
He's all, we should leave teenagers alone, man. They can wear black if they want to.
Cambrian Coheed, man. Come on.
Yeah, come on. You gotta. I have a terrible Biden impression. I got to work on that.
I don't. Yeah, I just sound like you don't know what you're saying, dude, and then end it with, "Come on, man."
Just the thing.
Come on, man. Go to malarkey, man. Yeah,
that was you. I picture that as you, like on your way to the hospital. Like everyone's like flipping you off. You're like, "Come on, man. It's the thing.
the thing.
Just the baby.
Look, we're gonna build back better. We're gonna build back better."
Oh, guys, he's gonna build back better.
Oh, he's whispering in our ears again. Here we go. Yeah. Wow.
Right. Well, I don't know. I just had to vent that.
I'm sorry that didn't work out. That would have been a lot of fun. See, I thought it was a festival, so I thought it was over 3 days. Where I'm instantly like, oh, it's more than one day. It is a
festival, but it's one freaking day.
Yeah. Well, I don't apparently know what a festival is in 2023. Festivals.
Anything's a festival these days. This stream right here is a festival.
Great point. Great point. Have you guys heard about the what's going on over at the Disney parks these days? I read this article and I instantly thought of you guys. But have you guys been hearing anything about the Disney parks and what people are choosing to do while they're waiting in line? I guess rides are getting so long now that people need different means of expressing themselves.
I heard that Swiss Family Robinson is kind of back. Instead of Tarzan's Treehouse,
it's like a soft reboot. They're not fully committing to the canon of the Swiss Family Robinson, but
they're also requel. It's actually a star takes place after Tarzan.
Dude, they were
the Swift family finds Tarzan.
They were so secretive about it when they wouldn't announce what it was, and then people just started hearing the Swiss Capoca playing, which is the song from Swiss Family.
Swiss Capoca? Is that actually called that?
Yeah, that's what the name of the song is. Me and Dave have a fun history with the Swiss Capoca too that we can get into sometime, but right now we won't. But anyway, so I read this article. New York Post had an article titled Disney theme park guests are pooping while waiting online for rides. And I have a question too. Right off the bat, does it make sense? Is it grammatically correct to say that you're online when you're in a queue for a ride, you're waiting your turn in a line? Why wouldn't it be in line? I've always said in line.
I feel like it's in line.
Dude, I'm jumping in on this one. I heard that same thing and I was like, it's not online. That's
got to be a European thing.
That's
dude.
dumb.
It has to be. I mean, but it's the New York Post.
No, they would be like NQ or something.
My thing is, I was more upset about them saying online than I was about people shitting in line.
I was like, to get over that first.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, excuse me, we're not going to say online. Like, what is this, like the AOL days where like, I'm going online.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
I think we lost Vince. Vince, you there?
Vince is so angry that he had to take some time out.
I like my camera.
Yeah. So anyway, I read that headline and I just
Peachtree says that's European for sure. So I feel like we can trust Peachtree on this one.
Peach, you're European yourself, aren't you?
Maybe European. Along with pooping, that's what the article's about.
Well, she might be European, but these people were a pooping in line, online for rides. So I thought we could read this article. It's pretty funny, Dave. It's not very long. And Dave, I thought if Dave could read the different Reddit comments as different characters, I would love that.
Oh,
and
yes.
There's some really good ones here for you. So you're just going to have to go into a cold. I think that probably.
So what? Okay, so can you explain further, or should I just read were people were leaving the line to poop, or were they literally pooping while they're like in their pants, or where are they pooping?
So I think the theory is that the lines for Disney rides are getting so long that people don't have time.
Is it like they're purposefully peeing? Like they're like, this line's so long, I'm gonna poop right here. It's like I stand by that completely. Yeah. Like if you're lying that, like when I'm in a line for in a sports game and I gotta pee really bad and like being a guy, I'm like, dude, I can't stand for there being a bathroom line as a guy. Like I'm just gonna start peeing on the wall because that's just, it's nothing personal. Just that's the way it is.
No, that's what gentlemen's do. And I think I agree with you. If it's a statement poop, that's different than a vanity poop. There's different.
Just keep saying poop so that our microphones pop. Or like poop. Vanity poop.
Dude, and the algorithm loves when you say poop, so we're good this week.
Poop.
All right, so I'm gonna read
Get
this.
Callie out here to say poop more often.
Dude, Callie's way crashed, but I absolutely would. She called it a poo-poo article. All right, so Dave, if you could do the Reddit poster voices, that would be awesome. So Disney theme park guests are pooping while waiting online for rides by Ariel Zilber. When you gotta go, you gotta go, even if you're in line for hours at Disney theme parks. Riders at Disneyland and Disney World have been defecating while standing in line, according to witnesses who reported their grotesque sight on social media. Dave, if you could read this.
I'm in the queue for Rise of the Resistance at Disney World. Someone let their kid take a dump on the floor, and when they just walked out and left it, WTF, wrote one poster on Reddit.
The post was cited by the news page San Francisco Gate. They'd know something about pooping. Disney guests can wait in line for Rise of the Resistance, the Star Wars themed attraction, for more than an hour and a half, according to Q Times website. Another Redditor who claims to have worked near the ride confirmed the claim, writing,
"For the skeptics, this actually happened. Fun fact, this was one of 3 shit-related incidents at Rise today."
Less fun fact. Oh, sorry, that's still you.
He's at Rise the whole day keeping track. He's there's been 3 shit incidents at Rise.
He's got one of those attendance clickers. He's just clicking every time somebody takes a dump in the ride.
So what's everybody got at the other rides? Because at Rise, it's really...
He concluded, less fun fact, I was here for all 3 of them, the poster wrote. A Reddit poster who this is the magnum opus right here, Dave. A Reddit poster who claimed to have worked at Disney World in Orlando, Florida, described guests leaving their bodily waste on the premises.
I love how it continues to be professional.
Yeah.
Their bodily waste.
Yeah, totally. It's a great article.
Bodily fluids no longer bother me after working at Disney. They wrote...
I love that he says that like he's in an ER or something.
Yeah. So I'm desensitized. Let's just say the attraction I work at has what the cast ended up dubbing the poop hall because of the number of times guests have gone in there and pooped. We even put up a camera and it didn't stop it. They put up a camera? Wait, is this what time span is this over the course of?
Also, just because you
don't get a camera in there, people won't do it if they're.
Yeah, it's like
that's the way they solved it.
The main component of having a camera that notifies you of things is it puts it on you to go and stop the pooping from happening.
It's all put a poop live feed up. People they'll stop in shame.
The poop stream, dude. The claim was seconded by another Disney cast member, a reference to the company's theme park employees.
Good Lord, the poop hallway, they wrote. Adding that testimonials are about seeing human feces near the rides gives me war flashbacks. I dealt with way too many bodily fluids at that dang attraction, they wrote.
I picture this like they have it's like a TV interview where they have the person blacked out, but it's clearly the outline of Brer Bear or Brer Fox, you know?
So I dealt with way too many bodily fluids at that dang.
They bring up wars. They bring up memories of war to me.
It's Lincoln. Okay. It's Lincoln. He's all, this war. He's all this poopy war.
This poop war of 2021 post-pandemic. The post has sought comment from the Walt Disney Company. In 2015, 2 cast members penned a book detailing their experience as custodial team workers in the 1990s and early 2000s. Ken Pellman and Lynn Barron, the authors of Cleaning the Kingdom, Insider Tales of Keeping Walt's Dream Spotless, wrote that spotting human waste triggered a protocol known as Human Code H. A Code H, which stood for horse crap, called one of the cleaners to pick up after one of the horses that was pulling a vehicle along Main Street went to the bathroom. Pellman and Barron recalled that eventually they started picking up human feces as well. On one occasion, a woman who stood in line for Indiana Jones adventure at California's Disneyland burst into the control room for the attraction and deposited her gift right there. So that lady broke into the control room and took a dump, dude.
Deposited her gift. This person reading this article is having the funnest time just writing different ways for saying take a shit.
They're just smoking a joint, laughing, going, I get paid for this. It's great. So it must have been challenging for the ride operator to stay at their post in there before it was all cleaned up. So they didn't even clean it up until later. Wow, crazy. So anyway, that's the article. That's basically the gist of it. But I thought in light of this, in light of people pooping in line at Disneyland, We all three, I don't know if Vince is back or not, but we all three are pretty familiar with Disneyland. So I wanted to bring to you the top 5 places I see to poop online or in line at Disneyland. I'd love to read them to you guys.
I just want to say Peachtree says is counting the hypocrisy going on here. Why are they saying inline in the article, but the headline says online?
Yeah.
I want to contact this writer and be like, first of all, amazing job. You described pooping really well. Second of all, did an editor not look at this?
You didn't set yourself up for success very well.
Also, Peachtree is going to read Cleaning the Kingdom and get back to us next week.
Book report.
I didn't know about that either.
Paige, you do that, we'll honestly do a book report and we'll come on and we'll talk about that. That's great. I didn't know that book existed, but that's on my radar now too. But anyway, so I have 5 places in the park that I think are best, most optimal, and give you the best chance of getting away with it. Not to be judged, no shit shame, just pure unadulterated and enjoyable deucing, as I call it. So the first place that I'm going to bring up is the Mark Twain Riverboat. I think you can easily drop one out the back by the paddle wheel, right? Nobody would ever see it coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They have a certain amount of space that they have to have between the ships, so it's not like somebody on the Columbia would see you dropping.
Dude, all of Tom Sawyer's Island is like up for grabs, dude.
Well, thanks for saying that.
Am I jumping ahead on the list?
Next up, I have Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island. With with a Mark Twain backdrop and a pirate theme, nobody will be able to finger you as you walk out of Injun Joe's cave after taking your time to drop a hearty deuce.
Watch out for Injun Joe though. He'll get after you.
He'll definitely finger you.
He'll definitely finger you. I can actually attest to this. I took our daughter to Disneyland yesterday, and she had never been to the Tom Sawyer's Island, so I took her over there, and we went in the caves. And not only is it the coolest place on the island, there's not a lot of people in there, so you could really go to town, and nobody would think twice, or they just think you were a cosplayer as like a Mark Twain character,
What's security going to do? Go take the raft over slowly to go try to get me in the cave? They're not going to do that.
And plus, you bust me, I'm going to go, you're killing the spirit of Mark Twain here, all right? He was an adventurer, so just go with it. All right, the next one on my list, number 3, is Soarin' Over California. It's important to classify the California distinction. Right now at Disneyland, they have Soarin' Over the World, which is Soarin', but you're going through all these major landmarks and, 8 wonders of the world throughout the world. But in Florida right now, they have a throwback to the original Soarin', and it was called Soarin' Over California. And I think it would only really apply to that one specifically because the 4D effects of water and smells and the fact that you're in California won't let anybody above or below your hang glider really let on to what's going on. They're just going to think they're immersed in part of the show, both, in the moisture that's coming from the parts where the ocean sprays you and the part where you glide over, the Castro district in San Francisco and see people just taking shits all over the place.
Is that in it when you fly over San Fran?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, breathe it in. It's 4D. I was going to say, because in the original California adventure, you could wait until the orange smell pass in the orange groves. It'll be like, it smells like poop and oranges.
Yeah, but that's the California of 2001. The modern California, you'd be zooming by and a bunch of people would ask you for money while they were taking a shit. Yeah. So, and you just end on a shot of Gavin Newsom talking. It'd be great. I think it would work, but nobody would let on. You'd be able to, you wouldn't have to do it to mean yourself.
We need more funding.
Yeah. We need to declare an emergency, a homeless emergency. But you can do
it. That's it too.
Yeah, that's the end of the
fly. You fly by, and he's looking at you. He's like, "We need to declare an emergency."
So yeah, I thought that would be appropriate. You didn't have to demean yourself by pooping in line. You could have a nice, comforting poop just right there on the ride while you're enjoying it.
Because sometimes it can come quick too, and you can't make it to a restroom in time. It's good to know those little pit stops you can maybe take, just if you have to, if it's a worst case scenario.
Dude, without a doubt.
I have a conspiracy theory for this whole thing, though.
Okay.
I feel like the pooping in the park is actually people protesting the higher prices of Disneyland. It's like when you're in different parts of LA or wherever, nobody wants to be in a dangerous area. So if you go out every once in a while, fire a gun off a couple times, it will all lower in value. The rent prices will go down. No one will want to live there. That's how you keep it low. It's the same concept in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Where you can be like, oh, well, if there's poop everywhere, they got to lower the prices. There's going to be less people.
Yeah, it like Disneyland pricing is kind of based on like it's like an Uber model of surge pricing now. So I think the poopiest of days, like you should be able to go for like $99 a day. You know what I mean?
Smells like
It just smells like an open air prison.
just cow manure.
Yeah, just cow manure, like
Oh,
winery
yeah,
discards.
Oh yeah, but it's 15 minutes for Space Mountain. You got to go with it.
Like the over by Soren will just be the line will be in a cloud of marijuana smoke. And yeah, you just get the full California experience.
Maybe there's different lands for different smells.
Yeah.
Maybe the marijuana smell is in one of them, and then you can go there if that suits your fancy.
True.
Or you can, I don't know.
There's wineries, there's vineyards. Imagineering, if you're looking for ideas, which it seems like you are, let us know. We're there for you.
Smell, it's a sense that hasn't been fully utilized.
It's about immersion more than anything else, and good pooping smell will definitely add to that. So number 2, this kind of goes into Dave's. Dave, you don't know how well you're just like you're segueing, dude. My number 4 is Spider-Man, the ride over at Disney's California Adventure. See, this would work twofold as both a place to relieve yourself and a protest to let Disney know the true feelings of this underwhelming attraction. So I want to get to a point where people are actually pooping in their hand on the ride and throwing it at the screen,
Oh, is this a web?
Yeah. You want to see a web? Here's a web. I'll buy your robot.
I'm waiting for them to replace that ride already.
Dude, that's the Ticketmaster of Disney rides where it's like, oh, if you buy this spider before you go on the ride, you'll get access to all these perks nobody else
So you can go like this.
Yeah.
And then get the high score.
And just be tired at the end of it. That's all I am off that ride. Man, what a bummer. All right. And my number 1 place to park is in one of the hundreds of toilets placed every 20 feet around the park. You filthy animals. Stop pooping. Stop pooping at Disneyland rides and attractions and shows. Just go to the bathroom, you scoundrels. That's it. That's my
fair.
list.
That's fair, dude.
That's
throw another one. How about this to go along with your past story when you were showing up there? The parking lot.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But I mean,
there's a lot of attendance. It's a Seinfeld reference too.
My thing is, if you're going to pay the egregious amount of money to go to Disney, you should have the freedom to poop in their park, dude, wherever you want, really, truthfully.
You really should.
Parking lot's free. Well, I guess you had to pay $35 now to park. So, but yeah, if you guys have any more honorable mentions of any good poop places, if the
I
chat...
have an idea. I tried a new battery and my camera's dead, so I'm all voice Vince. But my vote for pooping in the park would be in the Tiki Room. Because not only does that ride suck, you would be able to be the crazy guy in the back going, the poopy, 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 poopy room. And you'd be a hit.
I mean, I love that song. That would be great. Maybe it's like a Haunted Mansion holiday thing where they could do that like 2 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah, poop birds are back.
There's just one guy in there going, the poopy, 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 poopy room.
He's I see your soft serve and I match it with my hot serve.
They have a chocolate Dole Whip. That's disgusting.
This is what we've resorted to in this show is just talking about poop.
It's what people want to hear. They don't want to hear about movie reviews.
You got to
want to hear about Martin Scorsese. They want to hear about where to poop in Disneyland.
Where could you poop and Martin Scorsese would call it cinema?
Great Moments of Mr. Lincoln. Because
I would agree with him.
Like that's not an attraction that has a lot of high demand. So if you're going to that attraction, you're really
cinema.
Yeah. This is 4 minutes longer than it needs to be. I love it. I am Martin Scorsese.
So Great Moments is great, but it should be 3 hours longer, really.
It should be a Civil War epic. We should really see blood and we should see the plight of Lincoln.
Tarantino comes out.
I think Lincoln should blow John Wilkes Booth away. I don't know. Don't tell me no.
So I feel like you'd feel that it's almost be like another element, like these guys were talking about 4D, right? I mean, you could just put that in there, and then it's you see what I'm saying?
As long as it's in Cinescope, and as long as you watch it at a drive-in, it's cinema. Okay.
The budget's going to be 300 mil, obviously, but it's good. It's going to be worth it. And I've done 9 films. Maybe I'll do one more. I don't know. I'm getting old.
Look, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, I'm not doing more.
I said I was done. Maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm not.
Sure, I'll do TV. That doesn't count. Okay. All right, Bucks. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. I'm not going to die. I'm just going to retire from cinema. Blah, blah, blah.
What was it? What was that last one?
Like, what? Are you just becoming a caricature of yourself? Okay. You are. Great.
Because I don't know. Maybe Stranger Things season 6. We'll jump in that.
Because I like it. Because I like to have season 5. I don't like to binge stuff. But, it was in a... If it was 30 millimeters, I would have loved it. 70 millimeters. Sorry, whatever. Oh, all right. That's all I got. That's all I got, boys. Right. That's my list.
Right. Peachtree says we gotta roll the crump online at the Matterhorn. Matterhorn would be interesting.
Dude, what if they called
it's so bumpy in there? I don't know.
Well, I thought about they always talk about the like, oh, there's a basketball court on top of Matterhorn. Poop there, dude. Nobody's going up there.
Oh yeah.
You could poop up there. You know what you could do is you could take a dump on Pirates and position it to where it looks like one of the pirates did it. And there's the muddy pirate. That's a given.
Dude, yeah, the guy in the mud with the pigs.
You could take a shit in the scene where everything's on fire, light your shit on fire, leave. Everybody like, oh, it's all immersive.
Well, honey, they added some things.
Oh my god, get this on all the vloggers.
And then he's like, oh, they probably added that because it was more PC to put flaming poop.
Yeah, I watched it was really funny because Disney Plus has this awesome series called it's something about I forgot the name of it, damn it, but it's about it's called Behind the Attractions, and it's how they made rides, and they were talking about pirates. They're like, we didn't like that pirates were chasing women, so we put food in their hands and had them chase the women holding food. And I'm like, I don't really think that's what people see when they're in that. I think they still see pirates chasing women.
Well, most of them, I think, now are women chasing men, right? Except for, I think, like one.
I don't know.
I mean, you're kind of more the authority on this, but
I don't honestly pay attention. I'm just like, yeah, cool. There's pirates are scoundrels. Sure.
What's weird about, like, you're like, oh, they're pirates.
Yeah.
What's weird about that ride, Pirates, is like, I have no concept of how long Pirates is.
Yeah. It's 17
I feel like
minutes.
it could be anywhere. Oh, okay. Well, now I know. I was going to say it could be anywhere between 5 minutes and 45 minutes. I don't really know.
It's long enough to take a shit on. I know that much.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We really have come to a good place here with the shit talk. Yeah, it's awesome.
This is good.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll be here. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like for the next couple of weeks. It might be a little bit tight, but I'm down to jump on whenever we can. And, I think, Paige, if you find that book, let us know. I'll read it with you and we can come on and talk about it. It'd be fun.
Yeah, or at least maybe you can find little gems in it or something that we could talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. But thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad we got to jump on it. Didn't think this would happen, but I'm glad it did.
Yeah, and again, like we're looking forward to our next comedy album. So if anybody has, again, check out our first album. It's up on the podcast is up on Spotify, Apple, whatever else you get your things, except Pandora. We don't support Pandora listeners.
No, we're strictly they do some dirty stuff with blood diamonds we don't agree with. So
yeah. I was trying to tie it back to poop somehow, but then I couldn't think of anything.
They're shitty. They're just shitty. Their whole interface is what is it? UEI or U whatever. User interface UI. And I'll get it right.
Well, that's all we got for you guys.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see you later.
Bye Peachtree. Bye Daner Dane. Thanks guys. Bye Kimster.
Bye chat. Bye lurkers. Bye Vince.
Skip it through the end time.